Hello, and good day to all of you. I've got an interesting video that I think most user experience folks would appreciate, the UX Assessor's Toolkit. Think of it like the tools a mechanic uses when a car makes strange noises. They don't guess, they plug in scanners, check systems, and trace where things break. UX assessment works the same way. We inspect the experience and locate the friction. Granted, the video itself is generated, but I gave the presenter a name anyway. Let's call him, quote-unquote, Gerard. Alright, Gerard, walk us through, please, and happy learning, everyone.
Okay, so today we're going to build a toolkit, but, not one with hammers and wrenches. We're talking about a toolkit of ideas, of principles. This is the stuff that'll help you finally understand why some apps feel like they just get you, while others feel like a constant, frustrating fight. So, you ready? Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? You're on a website, or maybe an app, and you're just wrestling with it. You think to yourself, why is this so hard? You're just trying to do one simple thing, and every single click feels like you're climbing a mountain. Well, I've got good news for you. It's not you, and you're definitely not alone.
I mean, just think about something we all do every single day. You've got, 20, 30 tabs open in your browser? And as you keep adding more, those little tabs just get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? Pretty soon, trying to click the right one is like playing a video game on the hardest difficulty setting, and you always lose. That tiny little moment of, that's a classic design flaw right there.
See? That frustration, that's not on you. It's not a user error, it's a design error. And the pros, the people who work in user experience, or UX, they have a whole set of tools, these core principles that they use to find and fix exactly these kinds of problems. So over the next few minutes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build that very same toolkit, piece by piece.
All right, first up in our toolkit, we need to start thinking like psychologists. Seriously, because if you want to design something for a human, you've got to understand how the human brain actually works, how we're wired to see and process the world around us.
And the foundation for all of this? It's something called the Gestalt principles. Now that might sound a little academic, but the idea is actually super simple. It's just this. Our brains are pattern-finding machines. They absolutely hate chaos. So without us even trying, our minds are constantly, automatically, grouping things together and finding patterns to make sense of everything we see.
And these principles, they seem almost too simple, but trust me, they are everywhere. For example, you see two buttons right next to each other, your brain instantly goes, okay, those are related. That's proximity. See a bunch of blue links on a page? Your brain knows they're all the same kind of thing. That's similarity. And get this, our brains are so desperate to create order, we'll even fill in the blanks of an incomplete shape to see the whole picture. That's called closure. If you can get your head around these, you're well on your way to mastering clean, clear layouts.
Okay, so that's how we see things. But what about how we remember them? This brings us to another really critical tool for our kit, Miller's Law. The gist is that our working memory, it's not as great as we think it is. It turns out most of us can only juggle about 7 things at a time before our brains, start dropping the ball.
7, plus or minus 2, but yeah, 7 is kind of the magic number. It's the whole reason phone numbers are broken up into little chunks. It makes them easier to remember. And in the world of design, this is huge. It's why a navigation menu with, say, 7 options feels totally fine, but a menu with 15, well, that's just a memory test nobody signed up for and one that pretty much everyone is going to fail. It's all about making things easier to think about, reducing that cognitive load. So wait a second. If our brains are programmed to group similar things together, how does a designer make one specific thing pop? How do they make it stand out from the crowd? Well, they use a clever little tool called the von Restorff effect. It's actually really simple. When you have a bunch of similar things, the one that's different is the one you can't help but notice. It's the one you'll remember.
Seriously, think about the last time you were shopping online. That big buy now or add to cart button, I'm willing to bet it was a bright, bold color that was totally different from everything else on the page, right? That is not an accident. That is the von Restorff effect in action. It's like a giant spotlight for your eyes, guiding your attention exactly where the designer wants it to go.
Okay, part 2. We've got the psychology tools down. Now let's add some hard science to our kit. It's time to think like an engineer. See, these next few principles, they aren't just squishy theories about the mind. These are basically mathematical laws that can predict with real precision how efficient a design is.
First up is Fitz's law. And hey, remember that whole problem with the tiny browser tabs from the beginning? Fitz's law is the science that explains exactly why that's so frustrating. It's a formula, and it proves that the time it takes you to move your mouse and click on something depends on just two simple things: how far away the target is and how big it is.
And this isn't somebody's opinion. This is literally like physics for your screen. It is cold, hard, quantifiable math. So if you want to make it easy for someone to click a button, you make the button bigger and you put it closer to where the cursor already is. It really is that simple. And that's what makes Fitz's law such a powerful and honestly super practical tool. Okay, next up in the engineer's kit is Hick's law. This one isn't about the time it takes to move your mouse, but the time it takes to use your brain, your decision time. And it says that the more choices you give someone, the longer it's going to take them to actually make a decision. And the scary part is, it's not a straight line. Every new option you add makes the decision that much harder. It's the law of analysis paralysis.
This is exactly why some of the best designs you'll ever see are also the simplest. So next time you see a menu with just 3 super clear options instead of, a monster list of 12, that's not the designer being lazy, that's the designer being smart. They're actually respecting your time and your brain power by using Hick's law to help you get where you're going faster.
Okay, our toolkit is looking pretty powerful now, right? We've got psychology, we've got engineering, but it's not complete yet. It needs a conscience, because this next part isn't just about making things faster or easier. It's about making them work for everyone, no matter what. We're talking about the ethics of accessibility.
And when we talk about accessibility, the gold standard, the thing everyone looks to, is the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. You'll hear people call it WCAG. And this is really important. It's not just a list of nice ideas. It is a comprehensive, internationally recognized standard designed to make sure that the web is open and usable for people with all kinds of disabilities.
So what does that actually mean in the real world? Well, it means things like making sure the color of your text has enough contrast with the background so someone with low vision can actually read it. It means making sure your entire site can be used with just a keyboard for people who can't use a mouse. It's about using simple language and making sure everything works with assistive tech like screen readers. And let me be clear, this is not some nice to have for a few people. This is essential, fundamental design.
All right, final part. We've got our psychology tools, our engineering laws, and our ethical framework. Now, it's time for the master tool, the thing that pulls all of this together into one practical, powerful checklist. Let's talk about heuristics. Specifically, we're talking about Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics. And the best way to think about these is like the 10 commandments of good design. They're not super specific, rigid rules. They're more like broad rules of thumb. Things like maintain consistency or help prevent errors. They are the go-to framework that experts use to basically give any app or website a full checkup. Let's see how it works. Okay, check this out. This is from a real evaluation of a really bad shopping cart interface. The problem? To remove an item, you could either check a remove box or you could click a remove hardware button. Wait, what? 2 totally different controls that do the exact same thing? That is a textbook violation of the heuristic for consistency and standards. It just creates pointless confusion.
And here's another gem from that same design. They put the recalculate button right next to the clear cart button. Think about that for a second. One tiny slip of the mouse and you could accidentally delete your entire shopping cart. That is a massive violation of error prevention, which is one of the most important heuristics. A good design should help you avoid making huge mistakes like that, not set you up for failure.
And you should know, using these heuristics, it's not just some casual thing. Professionals have a whole formal process for it. A team of experts gets trained on the product, then they each go off and evaluate it on their own to avoid influencing each other. They list out all the problems they find and even give them a severity rating, like, is this a minor annoyance or a total disaster? Then, the whole team gets back together to compare notes and figure out how to fix things. It is a super structured and really effective way to hunt down design flaws.
So there it is, your brand new toolkit for understanding design. You've got tools from psychology, from engineering, from ethics. You now have this incredible lens to see the digital world in a whole new way. So I'll leave you with this. The next time an app or a website is driving you absolutely crazy, just stop for a second. Take a breath and use your new toolkit. Ask yourself, which one of these rules, which tool did they just break?